I got a girl pregnant that I barely know, and she wants to keep the baby. Back in June, my family and I, 18 male, went on a cruise for vacation. For anyone who hasn't been on a cruise, it's basically a giant all-inclusive party. So, while my parents had spa appointments or lounged by the pool, I would just go to the clubs or the pool bar and just have fun. I met a girl, 18 female, on the cruise the first night we were there, and we just instantly clicked. She's gorgeous, funny, and we had a lot in common. We exchanged numbers and hung out again the next day too. Her family was staying just one day shy of mine, and we pretty much hung out the rest of her trip. We did hook up more than once, so obviously we had a lot of fun together. We Snapchatted some after the trip, but she lives in South Carolina and I live in Florida, so we didn't really talk and just kinda moved on. Then one random day while I was working, she called me like 3 times. I hadn't heard from her in weeks, so I thought it was weird. I stepped out into the back and gave her a call. That's when she told me that she was pregnant. I was in complete shock. We used condoms and everything. And also she sounded very excited, not upset or anything. I asked her what she wanted to do and if she needed money, and she was confused. She said that obviously she was keeping it. Well, that's just not something that I agree on. I understand it is her body and her choice, but the logistics just don't make sense. She's 10 weeks now. We've talked on the phone since that first call, and I've gone over options with her. She fully expects me to move to South Carolina to be with her and help her raise it. This is my first week of college, and I told her I intend to graduate here. I can't afford an out-of-state school. I can't afford to just move. How am I supposed to afford a kid? And we don't even have a relationship. Yes, we got along well, but that's completely different than being a parent with someone. She thinks we can just try co-parenting, but I still would have to move for that to work out. It just seems that she has this big delusional plan, and she doesn't understand why it won't just work out. She thinks I'm the one preventing it from working because I refuse to move. I don't know how else to explain to her that this just won't work. Edit, we did use condoms, and a lot of people have asked this, but some were hers and some were mine. I didn't notice anything off about either, but I'll also admit that I fully utilized the open bar the majority of the trip. Also, it was from June the 26th of July 2nd. I don't know how pregnancy math works, but the comments are all over the place on that. I guess I'll just post updates on my page, telling my parents today, kill me. Just commenting so I can hear the update in about 30 weeks. Same, but definitely get a paternity test. This sounds fishy. Yes, OP, you absolutely should insist on a paternity test. Stick to your own plans and please update. And an STD test, just to be safe. Get a paternity test. Just because you two had sex does not immediately mean you are the father. There is always the possibility she could be lying. You do not truly know her well enough to be 100% sure she is not deceptive. There is also a possibility she wants you on the hook for money, stability, or the original baby batter donor is unwilling to be a part of her life. Be smart. Get the facts. I told her that's something I want and she doesn't agree to it. She insists that I'm the only guy she's slept with in months, but like you said, I don't know her that well to trust her. Do not sign the birth certificate without evidence. Don't be on the hook for child support if the baby is not yours. Definitely not doing that. I know you can get a paternity test while she's pregnant, but I don't think you can get a court-ordered one until it's born. Something's definitely fishy when she outright refuses a paternity test. If I were pregnant as a result of a fling, I'd be more than happy to provide paternity confirmation. It's crazy that she assumed you'd completely upend your life because she's pregnant, and downright insane that she thinks you'd provide any support without a paternity test. I'm happy to hear you're smart enough to know the potential for this being a con. especially because they use protection. If I had sex with someone who intentionally used protection, I sure as hell wouldn't assume they'd be happy having a kid. I know that condoms aren't 100% effective, but still, she's definitely the one in the wrong for making assumptions. I don't blame OP for not wanting to be involved. Hell, I'm faithfully married, and I've told my husband numerous times that if he ever has a sliver of doubt, he never has, that our kids aren't his, he's free to get them tested. I'm currently pregnant with our first. It's an IVF pregnancy, and I've still offered paternity testing, or overall genetic testing, to make sure the embryo they transferred was ours. I'm a brown ethnic-looking woman and my partner is an Asian-looking man. We had a blonde hair, blue-eyed baby white as a ghost. Before we brought him home, I was like, let's get a DNA test in case they accidentally swapped him in the NICU. You can never be too careful. No harm in a DNA test to keep everything on the up and up. Ours. We're both over 30% English, and I guess the printer ran out of ink. Not just an SVU episode, but this happened in real life with an IVF doctor that used his own genetic material to fertilize and implant viable embryos into unsuspecting patients, which resulted in almost 100 identified biological children. Dr. Klein is his name, and he is not the only IVF doctor to do this. This situation OP finds himself in stinks to me. I am with everyone else saying a DNA test is reasonable. If she knows he is the father and it really was a case of a condom failure, she should have no problem proving it. It's only understandable OP would be skeptical since they barely know each other and people lie all the time. I'm not saying she is lying, but it is a possibility. Tell your parents. You should talk to a family lawyer in South Carolina and make sure she can't just put you on the birth certificate. After that, if your folks can afford to put him on a retainer, make the lawyer the first contact with the girl until paternity is established. Then forward all messages to the lawyer. The lawyer should make sure her pregnancy is verified by a doctor. If not, you should still find a family lawyer in South Carolina and ask about the birth certificate and timing on filing. Your parents should still hire them to handle the court portion. You need to cease all communications with this girl. Ask your father or mother to be the first point of contact with this girl. She needs to realize you aren't moving south and you aren't giving her anything without a court order. My brother used my dad when this happened to him. It took my dad 3 hours of asking for a pregnancy test result for the woman to claim she lost the baby because it was a scam. Honestly, you seem to have the right mindset here, OP. I'm 36 years old, and from what life has taught me so far is that you can't just trust people with serious things. This is a serious thing, so you need to tread very carefully. Don't sign anything with this kid until you know it's yours. Also, make sure you're not offending her and her family. Be nice. Be a gentleman about it all. Be factual like, I respect your right to have this baby as it's your body and your life around this, but I am against it because I have a life too that I am still going to pursue. I am also not just going to up and start being a father or paying child support to a child that could possibly not be mine, so we will have to get a paternity test done together so I know for sure that I'm responsible. I want to trust you that you said that I'm the only one, and that feels good to hear that. But what feels good and what is factual are completely two different things. For one, you were sexually active when I met you. It's not like I took your virginity here, so you easily could have been sexual with others since then or before then. I literally have no idea, and therefore I need proof that it's mine. Look, broccoli, paternity test aside, and I do think you should get one. I'm just not crazy about all the whore implication vibes of everyone else insisting on the paternity test. You need to make it clear to her that this baby is, in no way, going to mean you two are together. I'm not sure what paternity laws are in your state, her state, but I'd say to insist on a test before you sign a birth certificate. If the baby is yours, you need to decide if you are willing to forego any and all parental rights and potentially a relationship with this child for the rest of your life. Once you figure out all of the logistics and decide what you want, you need to clearly communicate that to her and do not leave the door open for any wavering. I would like a paternity test as soon as it is possible. This is not negotiable for me. If the paternity test determines that I am the father, I will waive my parental rights to the child and do not wish to be a part of their life. Or if the paternity test determines I am the father, I am prepared to begin mediation to work out a custody arrangement and child support. I do not intend to move and I do not wish to have a romantic relationship with you. If, with this information, you decide to terminate the pregnancy, I will send you money for half the cost of the procedure. If you decide to give the child up for adoption, I will sign whatever paperwork is necessary. I know this is serious, but I'm crying at. Look, broccoli, as you proceed to give great advice. If she's refusing a DNA, then it's more than likely not yours. Wait till the baby is born and get a court-ordered one. She said she's 10 weeks along because that's what a doctor has told her, or because that's her guess. She needs to go to a doctor to get the confirmed time so you can at least calculate the date of conception to make sure it could be yours. I say this because when I found out I was pregnant, I thought I was like 8 weeks along, and when I went to the doctor to get an ultrasound, I found out I was actually 17 weeks along. Fake your death and escape to the high mountains and live your life as a celibate monk. My dude, you used rubbers. This fertilization event may not have been triggered courtesy of your swimmers. Get a test. Maybe the two of you can make it work if it's yours, but it's a long shot. Paranoid theory, she's not pregnant. She wants to give you a reason to pursue the relationship, and she'll have a miscarriage. She sent me scans and FaceTimed me during one appointment to hear the heartbeat, so it's definitely not fake. But yeah, I don't even know her well enough to know if we would work out, and I don't want to try to force a relationship, which is what it seems like she's trying to do. Newly retired OB here. It is really hard to hear a heartbeat, except during an ultrasound at 10 weeks. That's the earliest I could ever get it. Also, a pregnancy that is 10 weeks today means a conception 8 weeks ago. DM me if you want to crunch some numbers. I wish more people would talk about the actual risks and consequences of hookup culture. Like, obviously we're not gonna be nuns, but sleeping with everybody like it doesn't matter also isn't a great idea. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see the original post, the link is in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos.